Y'all, did Common just get caught red-handed cheating on Jennifer Hudson? Because Tiffany Haddish certainly seems to think so, and she has been clowning Jenifer Hudson hard. Now, everybody and their mama knows that Tiffany feels a way about Common moving on from her with J Hud, and it looks like she is finally about to get her lick back. Y'all, the streets have been trying to warn J Hud that Common is not the man that she thought he was, but she didn't listen. He has a long and messy string of broken hearts, and it looks like J Hud is the next in line. Word on the streets is that he already has a new woman on his arm, and that J Hud has been crashing out ever since. And y'all want to take a little guess at who's enjoying all this? Tiffany Haddish, that too. Talk about a bitter ex, and she hasn't even been trying to hide how much she loves this. And of course she's been throwing some not so subtle shade at J Hud. But why on earth did Common cheat on J Hud of all people? Who is his new girlfriend? And is Tiffany finally going to try to win him back? Well, police, let me testify. And on the count of 3, go, go. Okay, y'all, so not trying to kick J Hud while she's already down, but this one, you could see it from a mile away. Common has never been the forever type, no matter how much he tries to hint at it, because his history says it all. High-profile flings, short-lived romances, and a track record that screams commitment issues. But still, fans held out some hope. They thought that J Hud would be the one exception to tame and wrangle down Common, the one who made him slow down, settle in, and then maybe even start a whole new family. But now, that dream is looking dead. The streets are buzzing with talk that Common has supposedly been cheating on J Hud heavy, and that she's devastated. But what makes it even crazier is the fact that this man was just out here telling the world that she's the one, and even talking about marriage, y'all.
You and Jenny Jen still kicking it? That's part one. And part two is, do you ever see yourself married one day?
So as far as Jenny Jen,
I love Jenny.
Absolutely, we are together, and I just appreciate her as a partner, as a woman, as an artist, as a human being. She's a special individual,
and I like her a lot.
Man, it's just I'm just grateful for her. I thank God, and yes, we are good. Marriage is something that if I were to get married, then Jenifer is the person.
Oh, she the prototype?
She is but she's not only the prototype, she is the person.
Yeah.
But that being said, it's one of those things where I'm like always looking at my life and saying, okay, because that's a strong choice to make, And,
absolutely.
And
not to be taken lightly.
But y'all, not the whole time homeboy was out here slanging that thing all over town. And while plenty of people are feeling bad for J Hud, Tiffany Haddish, on the other hand, is definitely not one of them. In fact, an anonymous source claims that she's been loving every minute of this cheating scandal playing out in public. And honestly, if you've kept up with Tiffany's antics since her breakup with Common, this shouldn't shock you at all. She's never exactly hidden the fact that she's still hung up on him. Over the years, she's thrown her fair share of shade, and some of them jabs may be pretty clear that she believed Common cheated on her with J Hud in the first place. For example, during one Instagram Live, a fan mentioned that they had given Common a pair of earrings to pass on to her and asked if she ever received them. And Tiffany didn't even hesitate before trying to clap back with that bitterness that he had probably gave those earrings to J Hudson and said.
He responded,
"Girl, he never gave me no damn earrings. He probably gave those to Jennifer."
But y'all tell me in the comments if Jenifer was really messing with Common while he was still with Tiffany, because that would make Tiffany's long-standing shade make perfect sense. It would also explain why she seems to be enjoying every second of his cheating scandal. To her, it's karma coming full circle. But on the other hand, some fans think this might be the perfect opening for Tiffany to make her move. She's made it clear that she's still hung up on him. And a rumored side chick, please, that wouldn't scare her off if she thought there was even the slightest chance of winning him back. She'd be like, "Come close to me, baby." Because honestly, when she first started seeing Common, it was so obvious that she was way more invested than he was. She's the one who pushed for them to go public during the pandemic. They quarantined together, and she even made sure to show him off during an Instagram Live with Dwayne Wade and Gabrielle Union, tilting her camera just enough to flaunt her man.
We'll talk about the other T a little later. Yeah. What?
You not
You get cut off, and you motherfuckers brought the T.
Now, like I said, she was way more committed than he was, and Tiffany couldn't stop gushing about her 41st birthday and how much she wanted it to be special. In one interview, she even spelled out her dream plan, saying, "I'm just hoping me and my man, we go on hot air ballooning and have us a nice little meal. That's what I like to do. On my 39th birthday, I got drunk with my grandma. Never done that before. And my 40th birthday, I had a bat mitzvah. That was super fun. This birthday, 41, I wanted to go up in a hot air balloon." Well, not only did Common skip that whole hot air balloon idea, but he didn't plan anything for her birthday at all. Sources say he sent her some flowers, but honestly, that's the bare minimum you could do for your woman's big day. Well, she even admitted she was hoping for marriage, saying she wanted him to propose with an apartment building instead of a traditional engagement ring.
I'm enjoying it. I'm not gonna put nothing extra on it. If he want to marry me, he can get me an apartment building.
Oh, okay. That would be, you don't want a ring, you want an apartment complex.
I'd give me a duplex, an eightplex or something. You know, the homegirls be like, "Where your ring? I thought you was engaged. Where your ring? Where your carrots? Carrots, girl, please. I got units. Knock it off."
She had high hopes, because if you're wondering how Common reacted to that, well, he pretty much made it clear that he was only in it for a good time, not for a long time.
I'm gonna do what's good for me and the lady. You know, right now all I want is happiness, good times, peace on earth.
So it wasn't exactly shocking when they called it quits just a couple months later. The fans were honestly relieved that Tiffany had finally broken free from Common's chokehold, cause listen, he had her around his finger. But here's the wild part. Common was the one who pulled the plug and then tried to spin it by blaming their busy schedules for the breakup.
We both have professions. Well, I think once Tiffany and I got back on the move, it really didn't allow for us to spend as much time and put as much energy into our relationship. I don't think the love really dispersed. I just think it was just like we weren't feeding the relationship. And as you said, neither one of us is going to stop. Like we both care about our crafts and what we do. And we care about love too and partnership. But I think, the energy that has been put into our careers and continuing to want to do the things that we do for ourselves and for the people, is like, it was hard for me to balance all of that and keep the relationship.
Well, Tiffany wasn't about to let Common skate by with that excuse, because she fired right back with her own version of events, saying he might be the type of person who never really settles down with anybody. Maybe he's like a bee, going from flower to flower to flower. I don't know. I wish her nothing but joy and happiness. It looks like she was trying to hint at the time that Common cheated on her, maybe, but she didn't come right out and speak about it. And when Common moved on with J Hud, she once again spoke about that in an interview. She said, "It was the healthiest, the funnest relationship I ever had. It's where I felt safest out of all the relationships I ever had. The breakup wasn't mutual. It was more him saying, 'I think this relationship has run its course.'" And I was like, okay, like, you gonna be a 50-year-old single man? Okay. And now it's looking like she's running that same play with J Hud. But the crazy part is that Tiffany and J Hud are far from the only ones that he's done this to. Common has a track record of heartbreak that goes way back with names like Serena Williams, Taraji P. Henson, Erykah Badu, and a few others. I won't even get into all the list right now, but every single time it's the same story. Just when the woman starts getting attached, he hits her with a psych, calls it quits, and moves right on to the next woman. It's interesting though that none of his exes seem to keep things cordial with him, especially Erykah Badu. And that's because word is he did every single one of them dirty. Now for some context, Erykah Badu and Common started dating back in 2000 and stayed together for about 2 years before she decided to call it quits in late 2002. At first, Erykah kept the details close to the chest, but Common had no problem running his mouth. He claimed the breakup happened because she caught feelings for someone else and dumped him over the phone. He said, "She handed it to me. I was in my hotel room on tour, and she called me and was like, 'Hey, I don't want to be in this relationship no more. I'm liking somebody else.' That was my first love and my first heartbreak. He also admitted that he was still crushed when things ended with Erykah, saying, "With Erykah Badu, that was my first love, where you're just open and floating. When we split, I was 27 to 28. I was in a haze, just going through the motions. It was hard to eat." Erykah eventually got tired of him telling the breakup story his way and painted her as the villain. So she hinted that infidelity had played a role. She said, "No, infidelity is not a deal breaker for me. We're all born sexual beings. I myself am not someone with a very high libido. I don't require intimacy for happiness. I need companionship. I need a partner I can depend on, that I can love and grow with. But I do understand the nature of these men I have been with, and men in general. They have a need to chase." So even though he allegedly cheated on Erykah, he still spun the breakup as her fault, claiming she caught feelings for another man. That's straight up manipulative. And when I say this man had a bad rep, I mean it. But after things ended with Angela Rye, he suddenly tried to clean up his image, talk about how he'd gone to therapy and was ready to be a better partner and all that jazz.
And he says the work he's doing on himself will help him fulfill a lifelong dream. And you write a lot about you want to be a husband one day. You have a rather famous relationship coach.
Oh yeah, yes. Michelle Obama. She has definitely helped talk me through just certain moments of relationships. We had conversations, and she has given me a lot of wisdom. But one great thing that she told me as I was going through this journey was that you have to understand you're not going to get anybody that's perfect because you're not perfect. So understand that there's some certain things that you will compromise in choosing that partner, but as long as the core values, the values that are most important to you, that person, marks off on that list, then you good.
She gave you some good advice there.
That's good wisdom.
That's some really good wisdom there.
Yeah.
But judging how things went with J Hud, therapy clearly didn't work that much, and he might as well ask his therapist for a whole refund. But it's crazy to think that he was out here saying and doing all these things just to make it seem like J Hud was the one, while supposedly cheating on her the whole time. But what makes it even worse is that J Hud had already been through more than enough when it comes to relationships, and she didn't deserve that. I mean, y'all remember her relationship with wrestler David Otunga, right? Things took a dark turn when Jennifer's mom, brother, and nephew were tragically unalived by her brother-in-law just a few weeks after she got engaged. It was an unimaginable, painful time, and Jennifer needed someone steady to lean on. Thankfully, David stepped up in a big way, staying by her side and even planning getaways to help her escape the grief and start healing. Then, like a burst of light in a long, long sea of darkness, Jennifer got pregnant later that year. By 2009, they welcomed their son David Jr. For a while, it looked like their little family was falling into perfect place. But by 2010, after being engaged for more than 2 years, people started wondering when they'd finally walk down the aisle. Rumor had it that they were set to marry that year, but decided to push it back. They eventually called it quits, but the breakup was far from peaceful. Jennifer claimed that in the final stretch of their relationship, David's behavior took a dark turn, accusing him of becoming increasingly aggressive, threatening, and harassing toward both her and their son. She even alleged that the situation escalated to mental and physical abuse as things completely unraveled. Jennifer alleged that David sent her some chilling messages that left her so shaken that she called in security to stop him from showing up at the studio and causing a scene. But thankfully, he never appeared there. But the situation allegedly escalated later that day when, according to Jennifer, and David was waiting for her at home. She claimed he confronted her, grabbed their son by the arm, and took him upstairs to the master bedroom, then shoved her out the room while still holding onto their child's hand. So yeah, J Hud absolutely deserved better than him. But let's be real, is Common really an upgrade? Because I don't think he was ever going to be the good guy. And now she's just the latest name on a long list of women that he's left heartbroken. And in true form, it's only a matter of time before he quietly soft launches his next relationship like nothing ever happened. And Tiffany has got to be loving every moment of this. But at the end of the day go in. And Tiffany didn't just crack a joke, she cracked the whole situation wide open. Jennifer's name is right in the middle of it. Common's already flaunting this new flame like nothing ever happened. And Tiffany's trying to make sure the world has front row seats to the drama. So now everybody's left wondering, was this playful shade, or did Tiffany just rip the band-aid off some old wounds that J Hud is still nursing? one thing's for sure, two things for certain, this story is nowhere near over. And the next twist is about to be even juicier because is J Hud trying to get Common back? And I am telling you, I'm not going. Cool it, Effie.